Good morning, Leeds United fans. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor. We're back here with your Sunday supplement, your Sunday episode of One Leeds. Make sure you're cracking a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. There's over 30% of you who aren't subscribed to the One Leeds Fan Channel. Ow. If you want some merchandise, bash. Make sure you click the link in the description below, everybody. We are doing a giveaway currently on Patreon. It's a very sort of small, it's a much smaller group than on the channel. So if you want to be part of that Patreon, listen, we're doing giveaways on there quite frequently. So make sure you check that out. It's a bit of a smaller pool, so you've probably got a higher likelihood of winning. And also, yeah, guys, if you just want to grab some merchandise, you can get 10% off your second buy if you've already bought from Back 4. Make sure you do that, everybody. Well worth it. So we're here this morning to talk about the Red Bull Network, and I feel we've kind of touched on this, which is always exciting, but we've kind of touched on this when it comes to the news of Leeds United being acquired and selling a minority stake to the Red Bull Network. And I think the interesting thing about this is actually the disgust and annoyance of many Sheffield Wednesday fans, and you guys will probably be raising your eyebrows at that. Well, Red Bull have had a keen eye on two clubs in the past decade, and it's not just been Leeds United, it has been Sheffield Wednesday. And I've got a couple of Wednesday mates, and they were messaging me 2 or 3 times actually during this whole thing when they got wind of it, saying, "Oh my God, FFS, I can't believe it's you. Why not us? Please take over us." And they're actually gutted with the deal. And I think it does spark when it comes to Leeds United about how good the ownership is really when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, because the connectivity, the relationship established quite frequently, quite newishly, I should say. When it comes to Red Bull, they've had no dealings with them before, the San Francisco 49ers, and they've established a relationship with them really, really quickly. Whereas Chansiri has apparently been speaking to Red Bull for ages and not been able to agree on anything. So it just shows the sort of cuteness and guile of our new owners to be able to get them in as a minority shareholder, and also to be able to get the financial capital to be able to keep the club away from obviously restrictions that we are very, very close to this season, according to Kieran Maguire and several other financial experts. So the money that's coming in is said to be around about 60 million quid, which we all know. 200 million quid over 3 years. And not only is it giving Leeds United right now the ability to probably do stuff in the market, but for me, I can't get over, and I don't know if you guys have had the same, but the amount of rival fans who've messaged me, even on the YouTube scene, and they've said, "Red Bull, wow, 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 can't believe that. How only Leeds could manage that in the Championship, blah, 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 blah." For us to acquire a brand like that in the Championship, when I've been thinking about it, I was talking to my old man about it the other day, and it is actually staggering how we are the first club in the country to have Red Bull ownership. And I just think that the global market now and the players are now that will be looking at Leeds because of that. We all know Leeds are a massive club, but there's always like kind of that stigma around Leeds that, they're in the doldrums. It's been 3 years out of 20 plus that have been good, and the rest have been terrible. But the thing that you can't get away from, rival fans continuously, as of the other day, tweeting about was when they've got promoted to the Premier League, rival clubs doing the exact same, club accounts doing it still. There was just no argument around Leeds United being the biggest and one of the top clubs in England. And Red Bull getting involved just is so symptomatic of that. The globalization aspect of it, as I've mentioned on my stream the other day, is huge. Apparently, Red Bull now have experts and analysts that Leeds United are to share with, which is exciting, when it comes to expertise. Now, what we do know about Red Bull is they haven't been massively successful in recent times when it comes to football sort of strategy. We know that with Salzburg, it's been, the dominant, aren't they? They're absolutely dominant. But when you look at Leipzig, they have kind of been caught up a little bit. It's not been going amazingly for them in F1 as well, as you guys will know. But Leipzig's the interesting one, because I feel Leipzig was the club of which was in the eastern part of Germany, and they've just thought, okay, that's a club by itself in the east. It's the biggest club in that part of Germany. We're going to take it over, and we're going to do what we do with it. And they did finish 4th this season, above Dortmund, but their sort of strategy of acquiring players has definitely taken a significant blow. There's been a lot of criticism on individuals they've brought in, and individuals they might be looking at selling, and club sort of partners and people at the top of the club have been heavily criticised. But I think that the major message from me is the panic is just it's insane because that is a majority sharehold. That happened very, very quickly as well. And at the start, I've just been doing a little bit of a look around, and there was no real club chiefs at Leipzig and at Salzburg opposing any sort of big takeover. It just wasn't happening back in the day. There was an understanding that when Red Bull got involved, this corporate conglomerate were going to absolutely steamroll through these two clubs. There was an understanding. You know, if you go back, just type it in on Google and do a bit of research on it. There was an understanding that this was going to happen. So I think the beauty of this right now with Leeds United is there is no understanding apart from the fans who are a bit skeptical about it, which I understand. There is no real understanding from the 49ers side that this is going to happen. Now, what's the major issue? Well, the major issue right now is that Parag gives up his sort of custodian part of Leeds United. The 49ers bail, and then there's one brand that's left. I personally don't think that will happen. I guess the minor concern for me is that the 49ers have always said that they're almost here to make some money, to to be part of Leeds United, to get that sort of experience and then leave. But I also think that you get caught in Leeds United, and I think I've just got this feeling similarly to what Pep Guardiola has done at Manchester City. You know, being there sort of 7 years when he was only supposed to be there 2 years initially. I just have this feeling that the 49ers are going to be sticking around. I have this feeling that this project is going to take next level. You know, will Leeds United at some point want to get into Europe? Will the 49ers want to be around for that if they can do that? Of course they will. Of course they will. They're not just going to get Leeds to the Premier League and that's going to be it. But a European campaign is going to take a long, long time for Leeds United to get to. So I fully believe that with the financial investors, the equity that they've got on board now and other people consistently coming in, that's a massive help. And I think it's also a big thing as well when you do look at the Salzburg and the Leipzig projects where they were minority holders. They got onto the board very, very quickly. And I just don't think that's going to happen with Leeds United. I just don't see that happening. You know, they obviously haven't released how much of a percentage Red Bull own, but I think what we can only do is look at the card, the facts. You know, Parag answered questions the other day. I thought he did a pretty decent job, to be honest with you. And I'm just trying not to be sensationalist with it. A lot of people will call me negative, but once again, this is me just trying to be a realist. Like I'm not negative for negative's sake. I'm negative so that sometimes the dross you see on the football pitch and abysmal managerial decisions and club decisions as well. But this for me is a step in the right direction. We need capital. We also need to stay away from financial problems that are within the Premier League and this English football pyramid. And I think the Red Bull network involving 60 million quid plus 200 million quid over 3 years is only a good thing. And what's the point in worrying about stuff that's potentially going to happen in 5-6 years? I just don't see the point in it. I see only positives right now in terms of scouting, in terms of analysis, in terms of experts, in terms of maybe exchanging, even players. But I just see benefits all around this, and I just see the global market, the globalization of Leeds United is now just going to flourish. And I'm really, really happy with that because I think we've been restricted a little bit on what we can and can't do. But obviously, we're probably looking at a tour of Germany, which is probably heavily Red Bull influenced as well. As I say, I do understand the concerns. I do get what people are saying and the gripes, but I also think that this is a really good point of which Leeds United can be successful. And you do need big investors. It's just life, and at some point, Leeds United have got to move on. And I think this is going to really aid us in multiple ways. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But the Sheffield Wednesday thing is interesting. Kieran Maguire speaking about this being an unbelievable deal for Leeds and how this looks for many clubs dealing with Leeds United as well, in terms of them being a big club, players actually wanting to move to Leeds because of just the grandeur of them being able to acquire such a deal like this and their actual meaning. And, if you're picking between Leeds and you're picking between another top championship club, well, Leeds mean business. And this is why it's another example of it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Do you disagree or do you agree? Are you worried about Red Bull, or are you kind of in the boat that I'm at where it's just like, well, they've said there's no long-term pathway. If there's no long-term pathway, what are we worrying about? It's all just trust. It's all just paranoia for me. But let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in a bit.